So in high school, specifically year 11, I took modern history because I actually really enjoy history. I did both modern and ancient history in senior school. One of the assignments we were given was a historical investigation, which is just picking a topic of history and making up a question and then doing a butt ton of research and then composing an essay. And then the essay is what you submit. It may sound like a lot, but I actually enjoyed it, especially when one of the topics we could base our research off of was the historical accuracy of movies or TV shows, etc., etc., etc. A TV show that I thoroughly enjoy is a show called MASH. It's about the Korean War, more based in the Korean War, actually. Watching the show while researching it made me look into the American Army a little more, because obviously it's the American Army, was in the Korean, whatever. I came across a couple of interesting websites that talk about the LGBTQ plus people in the American Army. And they don't really have anything to do with MASH. MASH was just how I came across the websites and those aspects of the American Army. And now, I'm not an American, first of all. I don't know if you could tell. I don't know how strong my Aussie accent is, but I do know that if any Americans watch this, their patriotic levels are going to go through the roof, because you people seem to love beating up other people for some reason. I would assume that the army is, peak that. Or maybe your police trumps them, I don't know. Should I have said that? Sorry. Our police are far from perfect. And there are imperfect aspects to every country. There isn't a perfect country out there. Although I've heard Finland is up there. I am actually Finnish. I'm not making that up. I'm quite prideful of my Finnish roots too, for some reason. No one would ever know why. I've never been to Finland, but I would love to go. This isn't about Finland. This is about the American Army, the good old US of I. So there is a website I'm going to read off of. I'll put the links to all the websites that I'm going to read off of in the description so you can read them fully if you like. And this isn't some factual, or maybe it is. It is, but I'm just reading what I see and then talking shit about it. I ain't no politician with opinions that matter. Okay? Actually, moving on to the topic of conversation, however, the website is called the National World War II Museum New Orleans. Whether you find that credible or not is up to you. The website will be the first link in the description for convenience, because I'm cool like that. Anyways, come on this trade ride with me. This one is about gay and lesbian service members, specifically in World War II, or actually, just in World War II, actually. It's like an article, but it's like a film review. I think the whole article is just a big advertisement for a movie called Coming Out Under Fire. I don't know if you have heard anything about it. I haven't. I may have to look into it. I don't actually know. The film is actually based on a book by Alan Berube? Beirube. One of them. Yep. It's got little pronunciation tings on the E or something like that. I don't actually know how to pronounce, so hang on, let's search Alan Baru. Oh, this one. American historian and activist. Oh, there we go. There's the book there. 1990. Alan Bayrube, possibly how you say it, was a gay American historian, activist, independent scholar, self-described community-based researcher and college dropout, and award-winning author, best known for his research and writing about homosexual members of the American Armed Forces during World War II. Good for him. Love that. Alright, anyways, the website. More than 9,000 American service members, however, eventually were given a Section 8 blue discharge for being homosexual. For this time period, that's not surprising though, is it? Is it still horrific? Yes, absolutely. Surprising. No, it's not. At the time, homosexuality was classified as a mental illness by the medical community. Mental illness was one condition that disqualified young people from service. You do hear a lot of references to Section 8s in MASH because of the character Klinger. I don't know if you have seen the show. I love the show. I really do. Anyways, Klinger, this character, tries to get out of the army by convincing the army that he is crazy. But lo and behold, who knew that to get out of the army, you actually just had to be completely sane? You know? Nothing insane about that at all, to be quite frank. Also, the essay that I wrote on the historical accuracy of MASH got full marks, so doesn't add any credibility to my name at all. But I am just, a great writer. Full mark essay writer, I'll have you know. The US military, hoping to screen out mentally ill individuals, asked every potential service member questions on their sexuality. That's kind of freaky. Like, for what? Gay and lesbian recruits were forced to answer questions vaguely or lie about their sexuality in order to be allowed to serve. Otherwise, they would run the risk of being sent home and branded as sex perverts. I'd argue that the ones who care that much are the sex perverts. They just be living their lives, bro. There ain't no issues here. Hang on, I need to turn... Hang on, give me a sec. Hello there. By the middle of the war, the military sought new ways to target and expel homosexuals. Instead of charging individuals with sodomy, a court-martialed offense, the military began identifying suspected homosexuals as psychopaths, which just seems a bit psychopathic within itself. What is sodomy? Should we find out together? Sodomy. Okay. Okay. Nice. How is that? Is that an offense? How is that is that an offense? I don't know. I don't see how that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a dummy. I don't fucking know. In other words, instead of charging service members with the crime of behavior or action, the military charged them with a crime of being. Such a move created an efficient system of discrimination and prosecution of homosexual members of the military. Service members who were persecuted by a Section 8 blue discharge were purged from bases and units and sent to mental institutions and makeshift quarantined brigs, where they suffered from isolation, depression, and humiliation. I can read. And were stripped of their rights and dignity. This is around the same time as when, lobotomies were being used. I'm pretty sure. World War II was in the 1940s, from 1939 to 1945. And lobotomies were used in the 1940s and 50s, so it was around the same time. Spoiler alert, they never worked. History spoiler alert, the lobotomies, they never worked. I'd argue it just made people's lives much, much worse. Despite the threat of persecution, gay and lesbian service members thrived during World War II, as with most young soldiers, many had never felt their... nope. Let me run that back. Many had never left their homes before, and the war provided them an opportunity to find community, camaraderie, and in some cases, first loves. These new friendships gave gay and lesbian GIs refuge from the hostility that surrounded them and allowed for a distinct subculture to develop within the military. Service members on every war front enjoyed drag show entertainment. Yes! I've heard about, like, drag being from the army before. There's photos on this website too. This is this man in the middle having the absolute time of his life. It's like a photo of 3 men dressed in drag, and the man in the middle is having the time of his life, and I love that for him. Yeah, World War II, when cross-dress events were not only sanctioned by the army but celebrated as a boon for morale. See, I love that. I love me some drag queens, some drag kings. I'm all about them drag kings too. Okay, the picture is captioned with a drag show called This Is the Army, so I'm gonna see if I can find anything on that. Okay, I think there's a film actually. It's a musical. I'm assuming that's not the same as the drag performance that they did in the actual war, but yeah, no. I also want to know, what does GI stand for? I mean, I'm sure it's pretty self-explanatory, but I'm just a bit of a dummy in it. What does GI stand for? An informal term that refers to a soldier in the United States Armed Forces, especially in the Army. Deeply associated with World War II. Oh. What, so it just doesn't actually mean anything? That's just what they're called? Where did that come from? Where did they get the letters G and I from? How did this happen? How did we get here? I mean, okay, whatever. Fair enough then. An entire gay lexicon was developed from the writings of Dorothy Parker. Dorothy Parker, new character unlocked. Dorothy Parker. Look at this lad. American poet and writer. What was Dorothy Parker's famous quote? Beauty is only skin deep, but ugly goes clean to the bone. Interesting. Rightio, ma'am. Whatever you say. Can I find this? Lexicon? Friend of Dorothy is a euphemism for a gay man, first used in LGBT slang. I guess that would kind of make sense if Dorothy wrote a gay lexicon and then they actually used it. That's like where that whole connection would come from, right? Alright, well, I've not found this army lexicon, but I suppose it is a thing? Question mark? Anyways. And eventually an underground queer newspaper emerged, the Mortal Beach Bitch, or Mortal Beach Belle, covertly shared news and stories between bases and units. Mortal Beach Bitch is a banger name. Banger name. Mortal Beach. No, not beach. Bitch. Okay, this website. I'm not reading all this. Not right now. I've already broken down one website. What is this? I don't think this is what I'm looking for at all. I wonder if anyone has actually any physical, like, copies of these things, because that would be fascinating. Also me, anyway. That'd be fascinating. Let's have a look. Okay, no, there isn't. I haven't found any, like, copies of them, just more articles that pretty much all say the same thing. Women's Army Auxiliary Corps members Phyllis Abri, I thought I said Arby. I know you guys have Arby's as it's like a fast food chain. I don't know, some sort of food thing over there. This is Phyllis Abri, was featured in propaganda articles because she represented the ideals of a WAAC. Unknown to the army, they also selected Abri's lover, Mildred, as another ideal WAAC to be featured together in the propaganda. The irony that the military selected two homosexuals to represent the ideal image of the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps was not lost on Abri. I love me some good old irony. I think irony is hilarious. I think I saw, like, I don't know if it was a meme or an article or something about a fire station that caught on fire, which is quite ironic when you think about it. And I was like, that is fucking hilarious. And it is. I love me some irony. And, like, yeah, fuck the military, dude. Or at least back then, if this is how it was, like. Fuck them. Love me some irony. Gay and lesbian veterans of World War II became some of the first to fight military discrimination and blue discharges in the years following the war. Don't let the age of the film fool you. Coming Under Fire does a great service for our efforts to share a more complete history of the war that changed the world. Yeah, so this article is just a big ad. It's just an ad. Hang on, let me search the film. This isn't an ad, by the way. 1994, documentary / indie film, 1 hour and 12 minutes. So it's a doco. Interesting. So it's like, I wonder if it's like an interview style thing, like a one-on-one interview style thing, but I don't know. 1994. Well, fair enough then. Let's have a look. Where else can we go on this website? Where else can we go? World War II veteran statistics. Alright. The men and women who fought and won this great conflict are now in their 90s or older. I mean, that's just how time works, isn't it? Less than 1% of the 16.1 million Americans who served during World War II still with us today. I mean, that also doesn't surprise me. They're all 90 years old, bro. And they've seen some shit. 16 million, though. 16 million World War II American veterans. It's quite a decent chunk. Living World War II veterans by state, 2023. I'm not going to go through every single state. America has way too many. Okay. Which one has the most? There's 10,000. 10,785 in Florida. Anyone beat that? Anyone beats 10,000? Nope, I think like Florida has the most. What about the least? You got 70 in Alaska. Any less than that? I don't think so. Yeah, 70 is the least. 70 in Alaska. So there you go. Well, how about that? Yeah, there's a couple of pictures on the website, which are kind of sweet. There's Phyllis and Mildred. Bunch of cool dudes. Sweet. They're so sweet. Yeah, I know, Klinger in the MASH TV show, he tried to get a Section 8 by cross-dressing, which was something that they could get discharged for. Because if I go to this other website here, this is our second website for the day. This will be the second link for convenience. Section 8 was a category of discharge from the US military used for a service member judged mentally unfit for service. Section 8 was also often given to cross-dressers, gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people. Yeah, so Klinger tried to get a Section 8 because he just wanted to get out, didn't matter how. He was trying to get a Section 8 by cross-dressing. So yeah, you see here as well. In popular culture section, Section 8 became a household phrase when used in the 1970s TV show series MASH, in which the character, Corporal Klinger, was continually seeking one until he eventually abandoned his efforts. His preferred method of doing so was cross-dressing, but other attempts included setting himself on fire and consuming a jeep piece by piece. Oh, Modern Warfare. In Modern Warfare 2019, the character Sergeant Wayne Dillon Davis D-Day is given a Section 8 discharge after the failed rescue attempt of a teammate. Oh, well, there you go. Any Modern Warfare dudes out there who won't be listening. But there you go. There's a reference for you. Let's have a look. Other ways to be discharged. How can you get out? How can you get out? If you complete your service, this is our third link, by the way, third website of the day. If you complete your service, including time spent on inactive duty, you get an honourable discharge. This requires that you meet Army standards of conduct and performance and that your service was meritorious. Damn, them vocab words. That vocabulary. If you serve honourably but fall short in some critical criteria, receive a general discharge, also called a general discharge under honourable conditions. If the military kicks you out for misconduct, you receive an other than honourable discharge. Punitive discharges include the bad conduct discharge for enlisted personnel and dismissal. The equivalent for officers, this is a court-martial ruling prompted by serious misconduct such as going AWOL, drunk driving or being drunk on duty, adultery, or writing bad checks. The consequences might include jail time. Well, how about that? ELS, military discharge. Entry-level separation military discharge is neither honourable, general, or dishonourable. It simply says you couldn't cut it as a soldier. Physical condition. You flunk the physical fitness tests. Even if you're in great shape by civilian standards, the physical demands of basic training are a step beyond that. Wow. Oh my god, you're gonna be so strong. Wow. Insubordination. The army is big on every soldier functioning as part of a well-oiled machine. If you can't learn to follow orders, the army will drop you as a liability. I mean, bitch, don't tell me what to do. Criminal acts. Theft, drug use, or violent crime can all get you an ELS discharge. You may also end up in civilian or military court. Chronic illness. Failure to learn. So you just you just don't learn. I'm just like, fuck you. Okay. I think there are definitely a couple characters who in MASH who should have been discharged for, was it insubordination, not following orders? Yeah, for sure. Hawkeye, yeah, he would have been out of there. But like I said, it is a TV show, so who actually cares? It's great show, great media, quality content. I highly recommend. Very highly recommend. It's got the show is a perfect blend of, because obviously it's based in the war, so it's a perfect blend of serious moments and then comedy and fun moments. There are some moments where it hits you really hard and you're like, oh, that hurt. And then there are moments where you're like, oh my god, that's fucking hilarious. Because it's a sitcom. It's a sitcom based in the Korean War. Obviously, all these websites are about either the Army or General or World War II. But it was based in the Korean War. And, it's just a perfect blend. It's a perfect blend, perfect show. Honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's just a great show, bro. Just a great show. Great show. Another thing that does fascinate me about the army is the chain of command and people who think that they can tell me what to do just because they have a pretty badge on. Enlisted ranks. No insignia is private, but then there's a private with an insignia. It's just one stripe. What's the difference? I don't know. Corporal, obviously Klinger was a corporal. Sergeant. Those are all like the badges that I saw in the show. I'll tell you which badges I saw in the show. I saw private, corporal, and sergeant for enlisted ranks. Warrant officer? What the fuck is a warrant officer? Technical expert, combat leader, trainer, and advisor. Okay. The warrant officer administers, manages, maintains, operates, and integrates systems and equipment across the full spectrum of operations. In one ear out the other, I don't know what that means, and therefore they're getting skipped. Officer ranks. I saw first and second lieutenant, captain, major, lieutenant colonel, colonel, and then obviously then there's all the generals. General of the army. God damn. 5-star general. Pop-off son. Corps and division operations. Sergeant. Team 4 soldiers. Wait, so is this who's in charge of that? So a sergeant would be in charge of a team, which is 4 soldiers. And then a staff sergeant would have a squad of 2 to 3 teams, 8 to 16 soldiers. And then a lieutenant would have a platoon of 2 to 4 squads of 16 to 44 soldiers. And then a captain would have a company of 3 to 5 platoons and 6 to 200 soldiers. And then lieutenant colonel would have a battalion of 3 to 5 companies and 300 to 1,000 soldiers. And then a colonel would have a brigade of 3 or more battalions, 1,500 to 3,200 soldiers. And then a major general would have a division of 3 brigades, 10,000 to 16,000 soldiers. And then lieutenant general would have corps, 2 to 5 divisions, 20,000 to 40,000 soldiers. And what about a general of the army? What do? They just sit there, look pretty? Sit still, look pretty. Is that all they do? That's why they just sit there and try a job? Ain't nothing pretty about the fucking war, mate. Sorry. Alright, well, I think that's my rant. We're pulling up to the station now. That's the end of this train ride. Yeah, there are other ways Klinger tried to get out of the army. Klinger's aim, get overweight, regulation, refers to before official draft in the army not meeting training standards. And then there's the cross-dressing. Anyways, that's the end of my rant about the American army. Obviously, you guys might think, if you're American, this might think it's kind of stupid for me to be like reading this shit as if I haven't heard of it before, as if it's like, I don't know, something interesting, which I do find it interesting, thank you very much. But like I said, not American, and I don't even know how the Aussie army works, nor do I even care, because I have no interest in signing up, okay? I value life, I choose life. So yeah, but thank you for coming along for this train ride. We're now pulling up to the station. Choo choo, goodbye.